PBIS 2016. First we have Emily. Next, Rabbi. Third of all, David. And then there's
Cherish.
And last but not least,
Haven.
And then there's Drew, the camera guy. And Mr. Cunningham, our director, who's not here today, but he's just wonderful. And first up is cafeteria, so enjoy.
Hi there, RMS. Once again, we are going to be talking about cafeteria rules in this video and expectations. One thing I wanted to say was, once again, thank you guys for having a good start to the school year. First 6 weeks have been great. A couple things we want to touch on is that every 6 weeks we'll try to do one of these lessons. Along with that lesson every 6 weeks is we will be doing a reward. So last week you guys should have done a reward. It was like a fall festival fun day where you got to pick to go to a teacher and do something fun. Next 6 weeks it could be something different and something different as we go along. Last year we had a hypnotist. Last year we did outdoor games. The end of the year trip last year was Mount Olympus for some people, bowling for some people. It just kind of depended. So every 6 weeks you're going to get a new reward. As long as you don't have a major referral within those 6 weeks, you will be able to go on that reward trip, whatever it is, or reward day. Finally, with the lunchroom, we're going to talk about a couple things on this video, but I want to point out a couple things that I'm seeing as a lunchroom supervisor. Number one, when we have you raise your hand, please be quiet and raise your hand. That is one of the biggest problems we are having in 7th grade right now. Please be quiet. I want you to go outside. I want to go in the gym and play kickball with you. I think it's good for you, but you have to be able to follow the simple directions of raise your hand and be quiet, and then go and get dismissed when you're dismissed. And finally, the last thing we're all noticing is water bottles. People are flipping water bottles and throwing water bottles. You are not allowed to do that anymore. We've actually had a discussion recently where we're going to stop selling water bottles if we can't get this problem changed. And so, a couple issues with throwing water bottles. Number one, you're throwing something that's heavy. It could hit somebody and hurt them. Number two, you could spill water all over. And we've had both of those situations happen this year. So, what we need is to just drink the water bottles and leave them on your table, please.
Today I'm with Mr. Stocks, and we're going to be talking about cafeteria behavior. How do you feel about kids buying extra items from the a la carte without parents/guardians' permission?
Well, I think some kids maybe are so hungry, they need a little something more to eat. However, I think they should probably make good choices in what they get. Something that's limited in sugar, just getting some extra fruit would be a better choice to do for some of them.
Okay, and what are some problems that you see in the cafeteria? How can we fix these problems?
Yeah, sometimes things being a little messy. Kids leaving wrappers or fragments of food behind and not throwing it out, clean up after their area. Maybe doing a little walk around they shouldn't be. If they get permission to go use the bathroom, or that'd be okay. But if they toss their tray, they should come back to the same spot that they're at, hang out with their friends till it's time to go.
Mr. Krieger, and we're going to be asking him a few questions about the cafeteria. What do you think about those cafeteria lunch lines?
Well, that's a pretty hot question. I'm glad you used your hot pad. The lunch lines overall, when people are waiting in line, are pretty solid. The two main lines on each side are, for the most part, pretty well behaved. A few things that I see they can fix are, one, not to bang on the bookshelves like they're drums. It's just loud and just creates extra noise that we don't really need. Secondly, that they don't stand on the registers. Sometimes people like to stand up on those and get taller. It's not what they're for, they're not a step. And the third thing would be that when the cart is out there with ketchup and salad dressing and stuff like that, you give enough room so that people can get in by it. The center line, sometimes people get out of line. They should try to stay in as close a line as possible. And remember, it's only 4 people at the a la carte line at a time. So if you can just remember that, that makes it a lot easier on everybody, the lunch ladies included, because they got a job to do, and ultimately they want to get you through as fast as possible.
Okay. What types of food are required for lunch?
The required foods for lunch, if you're getting a main entree, you have to have at least a fruit or a vegetable. Sometimes you can take both. But so if you're not getting a main entree, if you're just getting a bag of chips, obviously that's a little different. So if you're getting like a chicken sandwich, make sure you grab a fruit or a vegetable or both on your way out. The other thing is just make sure you grab a milk. A lot of people forget, especially 6th grade, they forget to grab that milk on their way out.
Okay, and here's Mr. Kranz, and I have some questions for you about the cafeteria. What are 3 rules that students often forget?
Number 1, they forget to pick up after themselves. They are young adults, they need to pick up after themselves and be responsible. Number 2, they need to stay seated in their seats. A lot of kids want to bounce around and talk from kid to kid. We can't have that. You got to pick a seat, stay there, and enjoy your conversation with that person. And the third thing I would say is just keep the volume down a little bit. You're talking to the people right next to you. It shouldn't be as loud as it possibly is. That's about it.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
There's one big thing we have to add, and that is getting to the cafeteria and leaving the cafeteria. The hallways are loud when our kids are leaving, and it's really bad. We need to bring that down. There are other classes trying to learn in there, in the building. I know 8th grade is bad, especially. When they're leaving, the kids are leaving the cafeteria, they need to walk quietly back to their classroom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to get out of block 3-4. I'm hungry. Pieces of garbage are on the floor. Hey, that's bad, you see. Yeah, I think we're too loud and learn sometimes. We know we're sorry. I spent like an hour on this rhyme in my Ferrari. Oh, 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 oh. I'm quiet so I don't get in trouble at lunch. Oh, oh, oh. I'm quiet so I don't get in trouble at lunch. Don't get in trouble at lunch. Here we go. I die for food, that's easy to say. We all have a list of foods that we would take. Got grains and fruit, even some veggies too. And protein for everybody in this room. Grab all that stuff from the line as you're going through. The line as you're going through, metaphorically, I'm the man with the best dietary band. Be respectful to you and let teachers too have nice things to say. We'll be nice to you, put your tray away in your seat, you should stay. Wait to put stuff away, should never punch a kid. There are things that we forbid, like doing these things wrong. Do everything wrong and you'll get in trouble. Oh, 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 oh. Respectfulness is the way to do it at lunch. Oh, oh, oh. Respectfulness is the way to do it at lunch. Be respectful during lunch. I've been eating too much. I've been eating too much. I've been eating too much. I've been eating too much, no money. I've been eating too much. Eating too much. I've been eating too much, no money. I've been eating too much. Eating too much. I've been eating too much. Oh, 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 oh. I don't use all my cash in the a la carte line.